under the judge's prior ruling, we should be good to go. And once the comment period ends, if not earlier, there should no longer be a court order against this. My experience tells me that the ACLU is not going to give up, and the business community is not going to give up. The biggest challenge here is in getting the ground truth out, because there's a lot of misinformation that is put out by opponents of what we do. And I'm going to broaden this out a little bit and talk not just about no match, but also about real ID. There are people who ideologically oppose any government measure to enforce the law, whether it's criminal sentences, whether it's keeping illegals out. They believe, their ideology and their belief is open borders, criminals should have light sentences, government should not be involved, we should not be tough in enforcing the law. I obviously emphatically disagree with that. The way they try to argue the position is everything's an invasion of privacy or a catastrophe, and you get a lot of exaggeration. So let's take the no-match rule. The no-match rule it's not only common sense, it's so common sense that 2 years ago when I was in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I said, we can't even tell people when they have a discrepancy between the name and the Social Security number what to do. The members of the committee were shocked. They were like, what's the matter with you? I said, well, there's a legal issue here. So that's how common sense it is. The whole purpose of the no-match letter is, if there's a mismatch between your name and your number, gives you the opportunity to correct it. That's why they send the letters out in the first place. Presumably, the predicate for that is that you can, in fact, correct these things. That's why we send the letters out. So all we're saying is, when you get the letter, go to the employee. If the employee can correct it, have him correct it. That's great. That's good for the employee. That means in 30 years, when the checks are being written, he's going to get his check or her check and not have to go someplace else. But if the person doesn't correct it because they can't correct it and because they're illegal, then you can't just simply ignore it. Now, what were the arguments against it? Oh, there are going to be a lot of mistakes in the database. Well, the mistakes, if they're innocent, should be corrected. And the mistakes, if they're not innocent, should be addressed by terminating people. People say, well, there'll be discrimination. That doesn't make sense. Obviously, you should apply the law in a non-discriminatory way. But it's like, the carding requirement for buying liquor. You could apply that in a discriminatory way. It doesn't mean we abolish carding requirements. It just means we say you can't discriminate. And then there's the argument that sometimes creeps out of the tent, which is it's going to be a burden on business because businesses are going to have to let a lot of workers go. What that means in English is complying with the law will hurt my business. Well, that's true. And for example, requiring people to take out the toxic waste in what they dispose of, that's going to hurt some people's business. It's going to hurt some people's business to make sure the water that they put in the soda pop is pure water. It's going to hurt people's business if they have to file their tax returns. You're right, complying with the law. If your business is built on illegality, it's going to be a problem if you have to comply with the law. I don't think that's a valid reason not to enforce the law.